This is breaking news.
At 9:47 this morning, we received a ticket to 25 Columbus Circle for scaffolding with workers stranded on it. When the units pulled up, there was the scaffolding wasn't attached and it was swinging around and smacking into the building. There was glass all over the street. Units acted quickly and secured the street for pedestrians walking by. When they got up on the 78th floor, they saw the window was blown out, glass everywhere. The units acted quickly. Ladder 4, Engine 23, and Rescue 1 were able to secure the scaffolding with ropes. They realized that the workers inside the scaffolding was not secured to safety lines, so they were able to put lines over inside the bucket and secured them. Shortly after that, they were able to bring them into the building safely, and they were treated by EMS, and they were transported to Cornell. They were both in stable condition. I'm going to pass it off to Lieutenant Schneider from Ladder 4. Units did an excellent job at this, and Ladder 4 is here to speak about it.
I'm Lieutenant Nick Schneider, SCHNEIDER, from Ladder Company 4. When we arrived on scene, well, initially we got the ticket for scaffolding hanging. When pulled up on scene on the corner of 8th and 58th here, my chauffeur leaned over to me and said, gave me a confirmation, said we do actually have scaffolding, it's hanging. So he made a great decision to block off the street from traffic, any sort of pedestrians. About that time, 23 Engine had come from the west, and they did the same thing. The officer from 23 Engine was making the transmissions, confirming what we had. Both chauffeurs did a great job blocking off the street and securing the area. We made our way up to the 78th floor. Just ahead of us, 23 Engine had taken another elevator. They brought a life-saving rope. Ladder 4 had brought life-saving ropes and utility ropes to the 78th floor. We also sent our roof firefighter to the roof. Once we got up there, as soon as we opened the apartment, the door to the elevator rather, I could feel like a gust of air. I knew that the window had been taken at that point. Came into the room, and they were swinging back and forth, and the scaffolding was twisting. We were able to get eyes on 2 occupants, communicated down to 9th Battalion, let them know that we confirmed that there were actually occupants inside the scaffolding, and they were not secured. They weren't tied off. They had harnesses on, but for some reason they were not secured to any sort of safety lines. Members of 23 Engine and 4 Truck acted quickly using 23 Engine's life-saving rope tied to a substantial object. Then we're able to tie off the left-hand side of the scaffolding. Once that was secured, Rescue 1 had actually just made their way up to the apartment at that point. Had a quick discussion with the officer from Rescue 1, and Rescue 1 members then had all their equipment up there. They acted quickly, tied off a substantial object to the right side of the scaffolding, secured that side, and then they went to work. They immediately had their members secured, tied life safety lines onto the 2 occupants of the scaffolding. And as soon as they were all secured, members of Rescue 1 started going through their evolution and getting them closer, the occupants in the scaffolding, closer to the building.
How would you describe the danger that these guys were in?
It was the occupants of the well, actually both. I'll say that it was extremely dangerous obviously for the occupants of the scaffolding, but initially when we got on scene, it was extremely dangerous for members of the FDNY. The sill to the window on these buildings, it was incredibly low. I mean, they have a full picture window. All that glass had been taken. There was broken glass everywhere. There was a high wind factor blowing into the building. There's glass pretty much raining all over the sidewalk when we pulled up, but also we had to be careful for our members that we're operating essentially on the ledge of a 78-story building. So it was very difficult for us, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing, the fact that they weren't tied off. So they kept trying to stand up in the scaffolding, and members of all the companies that were here, we told them, we kept telling them to sit down, and fortunately, both sides of the scaffolding remained level because they weren't secured to anything.
All right, next question.
Explain, Lieutenant, scaffolding is twisting and turning? Is that because there was no safety line? Can you explain why it was like that?
I can't speak to that. I don't know why it was rotating. It was extremely windy. I don't have the physics behind it, why it was actually spinning, but it was very windy up there. As you know, or you may not know, whatever the wind's like on the street level, once you get up to the 78th floor, it's a whole different ball game.
John, what information do you know about the victims, like how old they are, or how long they've been
I can't speak to that.
Was there anybody inside on the building on the 78th floor?
Yes, there was. There was the occupants of the apartment, and then of course, members of our companies, 23 Engine, Rescue 1, and Ladder 4 were kind of securing that area. But the occupants of the building were in there, and of that apartment as well. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, knowing they weren't secure, knowing that window, when you got them into that apartment, just walk us through that moment when you knew they were safe and everyone was safe.
Members of Rescue 1, well, actually all the members down here in the 9th Battalion, they do this stuff and they train for this stuff day in and day out. 23 Engine, they're an engine company, but they showed up on the floor of the incident and they had a lifesaver rope. Everybody's squared away, everybody trains here, so they knew exactly what to do. And then once Rescue 1 got up there, they have a different set of skills and training, and they're incredibly adept to dealing with this stuff. So the evolution goes pretty quickly once you get up there and you have the members up there that know what they're doing. So.
Were they on the 75th or 78th floor?
I believe it was the 78th floor, yeah.
Do you know how many feet that actually is high?
I don't know.
Or anything?
I don't know. No idea.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys.
This has been breaking news. This is CBS News New York.
When the units pulled up, it was the scaffolding wasn't attached. It was swinging around. It's smacking into the building.
Right now at noon, emergency 75 stories in the air. 2 window washers are rescued on the Upper West Side. See how they were brought to safety. And it's a windy day out there with mild temperatures today, but will that change this weekend? John Elliott with a major temperature drop in your first alert forecast. Plus, accused drug cartel leaders from Mexico expected to be arraigned in federal court in Brooklyn today. The surprise transfer from Mexico and the cases they're linked to here in the city. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Raggi, now on the air and streaming on CBS News New York. Let's begin, though, with those scary developments out of Midtown Manhattan at Columbus Circle, where the FDNY rescued 2 window washers from their scaffolding that was swinging out of control. John Diaz is live from the scene where firefighters just wrapped up a news conference. John, what do they have to say?
Yeah, well, Chris, they had to say a lot, really stressing just how scary these moments were for these 2 workers. They say that they are okay. Right now, they are being treated at a nearby hospital, but those intense moments they had to endure, they were up, listen to this, 78 floors way up there in the sky, the top of this building located right here at Columbus Circle. And this video that you're about to see, it shows those workers on a stretcher really just hours ago, right after this happened, about 9:45 this morning, after they were rescued while on the job, washing windows, like I mentioned, in the top of a building here in Columbus Circle by 58th and 8th. We're told that they were on a scaffolding, but then pulled into windows. High wind playing a factor. A firefighter saying it was like it was raining glass onto the sidewalk below when they got out here to the scene. Now, fire officials telling us that these 2 workers did have harnesses on, but they were not connected to any safety lines, which made it even more intense. A fire chief is saying that he couldn't believe what he was seeing when he arrived out here to the scene.
The scaffolding wasn't attached. It was swinging around. It's smacking into the building.
As soon as we opened the apartment, the door to the elevator rather, I could feel like a gust of air. I knew that the window had been taken at that point. We confirmed that there were actually occupants inside the scaffolding, and they were not secured.
Now pictures show the damage from inside the building. Windows you can see blown out. The FDNY chief saying that this was an extremely dangerous situation for these workers, for the FDNY, and the people inside this building as well. But again, no one was injured here in this case. Authorities, they still do have this part of 58th Street blocked off, but no doubt they will be continuing their investigation and will be clearing this scene up momentarily. But just keep that in mind if you're traveling in this area. But for now, we are live this afternoon from Columbus Circle. John Diaz, CBS News, New York.
Okay, John, thank you.